camera is turned off.
No, it's not.
Yes.
Let's turn it on.
Okay. Great. I already see people here.
It will take some time.
Can I do this? Suraj?
Don't close it.
Okay. I guess we can start. So I already see a lot of people who tuned in. Hello, hello, hi. Lokesh, Vasavi, Mahesh. There is somebody called Lakshmi, everybody. So hello, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in. We have here. We can start. So I already see a lot of people who tuned in. Hello, hello, hi. One
Lokesh,
second. Vasavi. Okay. That was a reverb. Sorry for that. Should we start now? Awesome. So I will briefly introduce both the people here and myself. So this is Sarigama. I'm the organizer of this community Techies of Hyderabad and this workshop AUDEVDAY. So this is our second live and we are super excited about it. We also have Nihar who's going to be hosting today's session. So thank you so much for coming live with us. I'm sure a lot of people who came here know you. But to just briefly introduce, Nihar is a tech enthusiastic person. I saw his page long ago and I was like, wow, somebody who is a student also doing so much for a community. He calls it mass coders, and most of you are tuning in probably have already been part of that community. So welcome to all of you to Techies of Hyderabad. If you're in Hyderabad and you're a mass coder, you're welcome to join us. We are all comrades here. This is Nalin Abrol. He is actually the CTO of AlgoUniversity. He's also a board of mentors here at AUDEVDAY. He previously was in Plivo, which is a unicorn startup, had the fastest growing career there. Then he left it and he came to AlgoUniversity to work with us. He leads the tech team here and he built the TheJobOverflow, which I'm sure a lot of people you here have seen that platform because you were doing that 10-day coding challenge that we put up. It had a great response in just 2-3 months, had an organic product-based growth with almost 80,000 plus students and working professionals who were practicing for their jobs on that platform. And yeah, from different colleges like IIT, NIT, IIIT-H, places like that. Then he also recently, congratulations for that, and we are very proud of that. He built the world's second best coding LLM model. And I guess if people come and join us in these workshops, someday they might be seeing that in person also. It's a ML model, and they have built it recently. Just to give a context, in the top 50 of the world, there is no Indian team that has built this. So it's not only something that we are proud of here at AlgoUniversity, we are just generally proud of this whole thing as an achievement to India. So yeah, let's get started. This conversation is basically about people being very curious about tech interviews and DSA in general. And most people who are tuning in because they have a huge ambition in their life. They want to do something big. They are practicing, they are attending workshops, they are part of a community, they're really passionate. And here we want to kind of unwrap that whole idea of what is the essential, crucial things to know if somebody is already knowing that DSA is important, they want to give a tech interview, then what is it that actually will bring them there? So with that, I will let Nihar take the conversation forward.
Nihar's audio is not audible.
It's audible to me. People are saying they can't hear any sound. So just let's 1 second. Yeah. Could you increase here in some? Is guys, can you comment whether the audio is low or is it inaudible at all? There is no audio or is it low audio? Voice.
Is my sound low?
Is only one person's low or three of us? Hello, hello. This is Sarigama. Nalin, can you also?
Yeah. Hello, hello. Hello. Am I audible? Hello.
Guys, can you comment whether?
Increase the output of my. Maybe I'll just switch my mic. Let me just check. Hello, hello. I'm audible right. Am I audible right now? Hello.
Yeah, Nihar, I think you're audible to us. There's some issue with the stream.
Yeah. Let's see, like if they're able to hear me. Hello.
Acha, one person only Nihar's is low. They are very clearly commenting.
Now is it clear? Hello. Are you guys able to hear my voice?
They can, but it is low. Do you want to just do like a speaker of your laptop or something? Just
So,
try out.
I mean, like you people are hearing, right?
The stream is delayed a few seconds, so abhi whatever we are saying, I don't think they can hear it right now. So the audio low must have been like a few seconds back for them.
Ha, but it's consistently saying this.
They are now saying two persons, Nihar and Nalin voice is too low.
Can we, by any chance, fix it here? Increasing audio. Studio.
Now it's clear, they are saying. Maybe I'll be a bit louder, something like that.
Don't do anything that you are not sure of.
Ask him to talk.
Can you talk now, Nihar?
Hello, hello. Nalin is also low.
He's audible.
Hello. Guys, am I audible? Just like
See, I
just
think
in the
your
chat box
earphones is
once.
the thing because I have a mic.
Yes, in the chat box once.
Clear. Yes.
Clear,
Now,
clear.
okay,
Yes,
clear.
in the chat
Great.
box. Okay, yeah, then fine. Okay, let's
If
move on to the
everyone
question.
now, everyone is audible properly.
Yes.
Nalin also low, I heard, saw a comment.
Yeah, now okay. So
They're
let me
writing
just like
perfect.
quickly repeat the question, I guess. So the first question which I have asked is what is the importance of data structures and algorithms in the context of technical interviews?
Right. So data structure and algorithms is only required for interviews and job hunting. So it's only important in context when you're looking for a job or first few years of when you're in your technical interview. And it's kind of like a hard pill to swallow. I've seen a lot of people trying to get away from data structure and algorithms. But if you take if you look at the data and you take a zoomed out image of what the job market is, and you check out the entire spectrum of technical jobs, starting from like early age startups who just got funded or are pre-funded stage to like a well-founded company, for example, Google, Microsoft, other FANG. 90% of the jobs you cannot get away from DSA. It's not
True.
possible for people to hire at that scale that they hire without DSA. They need a filtering process which is technical. So DSA is a something which will not be required for you in the job, but whenever you're looking to switch a job or trying to find a job, DSA is something you cannot run away from. So yeah, it's a
True.
very
Understood.
bittersweet things for developers sometimes.
Understood. So I mean, like, what exactly is DSA? Maybe like, can you just like give just talk it? Like, what I mean, like, when we get hired, right, in the companies and all, what like fresher exactly get to work on this DSA? I mean, like, see, DSA is something very complex, right? So
Right.
when fresher gets hired in a company, does he get directly gets to work on the topic, or he'll get like experience for some few years, and then he gets to work on those algorithms and stuff, or like how does it exactly sound like?
Right. I personally don't feel DSA is complex, even though a lot of people conceive it as complex. But I think that is because of the fear of DSA. People, how they approach DSA or how they get introduced to DSA is not very not a very comfortable journey. That's why it's always stuck in their mind, okay, DSA is something I don't want to learn or I don't want to do. And coming to your question, like when do they actually have to implement DSA in their job? It depends very specifically on what kind of role you are in. But if you're joining as a fresher or an early age engineer, first few years will be basic programming. So you might not be directly working with those algorithms, but like writing DSA code, solving
Suraj,
programming,
we
solving
need to fix
will
the
help you in writing
link
code. It
here
helps you on how to
in the
write modular
description.
code, clean code. It increases your
There is
speed of
no
writing code,
option for that.
understanding code. So it's like the basic grammar. You have to learn grammar before you start reading books. So it's your
Understood.
grammar, it's your basic one-on-one homework that you have to do.
So yeah, understood. So I guess these people has got some clarity how exactly to start with DS and stuff.
Yeah.
So I mean, like, what will be the go-to place to start with DSA?
So there is not one very conventional way to start with DSA. I would say just try attempting some problems to see what your level is at. Try with very basic problems, try with problems which have come in previous companies, and you would understand, okay, how comfortable you are with it. And if you're someone who's very new, who have not done DSA in the past, then I think getting into a structured way, starting with the basics, learning, like for some people they have to start from how to write if else condition loops, then array iterations, those basic algorithms, and
Understood.
then you jump into binary search, dynamic programming, graphs. So slowly take the steps and try doing a structured way, but first get an evaluation, okay, where you are in the journey first of all, so that you know which
Understood.
journey you have to take.
Understood. So it's like mostly when these people get into DSA and stuff, right? So they easily get to understand what exactly is the theory, what exactly is the algorithm. But when they comes to like solving these problems and all stuff, right? They start facing all these problems. So
Right.
what's the better solution or something like which you should suggest?
So a lot of people have told me that, sir, I know the algorithm, I can solve problem easily, but when I go to the coding round, I just black out. I'm not able to solve it. So
True.
if you really have learned a topic, for example, when you learn driving, even if you don't drive for 2 years, you go back, drive a car, you can very intuitively figure out, okay, it might take you a few hours to get comfortable, but once your senses kick back in, you know how to drive. Or go back to
True.
the quadratic equation or your mathematical formulas which you learned in ninth, 10th, 11th, 12th. You might not remember
Right.
them right now, but if you spend like 1, 2 hours back again, you'll revise everything, and now you will not have to go back learn those formula again, because that's a very
Understood.
intuitive. You've internalized those concepts. So if you've
True.
really internalized the concept of DSA, you don't have to remember any specific program. You don't have to like remember any code. Whenever you see a problem, your brain will automatically give you the solution, and if you have practiced enough, you should be able to solve the problem in that time frame. So
Yes.
if
Yes.
you are
Understood.
facing that specific problem, probably in your preparation, you did not have a very structured way of learning. You just randomly attempted some problems, and the concepts are not internalized for you.
Understood. Understood. And when I speak with people, right, I mean, like I have spoken with like many people so far, like who have attempted these technical interviews, that is specific in with DS and stuff.
Right.
People who have solved more than 500, 600 problems, they might not like crack the job, but people who have solved like 100 to 200 problems on DSA, to be specific, they have, I mean, like there are some problems which they have solved, like to be specific, which are actually required. So what do you like? Why they haven't cracked the job and these people has cracked the job, right? What's the like main difference or something like that?
You don't have to solve more than 300 problems to get into any top FANG companies, right? If you're solving more than 300 problems, if you like solving problems, then it's good for you. But other than that, you're wasting your time. Or if you're preparing for any competitive programming contest, then it's good. But if you just need to crack jobs, 300 more than 300 problems is not required. What is important is what are those 300 problems? Okay, for example, let's take a topic of binary search. There are like three different types of binary search questions which will come. Solving more than 15, if you solve 15 binary search questions which cover all these concepts, you don't have to cover it again, because those 15 questions can internalize those topics inside you. Then any other question will be a variation of those 15 questions, and you don't have to do it again. So generally people who have done like 500, 600 problems, it's just a feedback loop they want. It's like every day I'll solve two problems. Mentally, I have proven
Understood.
myself, okay, I've done something. But at the end, when the coding round comes, then it does not stand true.
Understood. Got it. So to speak about this fundamental data structures and stuff, maybe like consider the stretch of like 10 to 30 LPA job, like the companies offer, right?
Right.
I mean, like the companies offer those, the package in that stretch. What's the like most commonly asked data structures in those particular interviews by those companies?
So there are like 6, 7 topics which will be required. Like if you're trying to sit for those 90% of the companies which I mentioned, those are the basics. They start from binary search, basic array traversal, arithmetic operations, permutation combination, dynamic programming. Then it goes to the advanced topics like graphs, knapsack DP. So there are like 8, 9 topics which you have to cover. And for those 8, 9 topics, they're like limited type of concepts. You have to know the concepts and practice good enough problems for them, and that's a good enough.
Understood.
If I give you an approximate time, I think 6 to 8 months is a good time to finish this entire syllabus if you're doing in a structured way. That
Understood.
too, along with that, you might have a job or you might be going to college. It's not like 8 months you're doing it every day, but along with something, 8 months is a good enough sufficient time if you are learning it in a structured way in good mentorship.
Understood. Understood. Also, like to be specific with DSC, there are like lots of resources available on the internet, and people say follow this structure, you'll get the job easily. Follow this structure. I mean, like what's the like ideal pathway to start with DSA? What exactly is the structure to follow, and where should we solve the problems from? Which platforms to be specific?
Uh, so like there are multiple parts to that question. First, I think you asked there are resources available, right? Online.
Yeah. I'm asking an ideal pathway. So it's like they should understand the concepts first. I mean, like maybe to broaden the question. So it's like, for example, if I'm starting with arrays, so it's like, should I cover all the topics of like arrays, queues, linked lists? I should cover all the topics and then try to solve the questions, or should I start with arrays, complete the questions, and move on to next topic or something like that?
As soon as you cover a topic, even a topic can be broken down into multiple sub concepts, right? So whenever you're clear with a sub concept, try to approach
I'm staying weak
problems of
here.
that
I
sub
don't have
concept.
data, but
Once you have had like
then
good
I
enough
will
number of
be able
problems
to.
of that sub concept, then move to the next. Don't
Understood.
stuck yourself in the loop of just learning theory, and then I'll come to problems. And
Understood.
even solving problems has to be like in a specific way. Okay, initially you might refer to solutions very much, but just looking at solution or understanding the concept and then writing the code, that is not at all the right way to do it.
Understood.
So initially you might be required to do that, but sit with the problem. है ना? Initially you might be sitting for it with 24 hours, 48 hours, but try to come up with the solution. That might not be a correct approach. Might, for example,
Understood.
you might not come up with the correct approach. You might go beyond the time complexity or something, but that way
Hmm.
you find flaws in your own thinking. You'll find flaws. Okay, where am I missing out on? What is missing? Like what is missing in my own learning? And
True.
that is the topic which you have to go and learn again.
Understood.
So right now, because solutions is very easily available, there are a lot of editorials available, and AI is really easily available. So people just
Yep.
directly go to the solution. That is like a
Understood.
suicide that you're doing to learning DSA.
True, true. And here a person is asking, which is the language we should prefer to learn DSA, Java or C++?
I'm sure Nihar, like this question, you must be getting all the time.
Yeah, a lot of times.
Language
True,
should I
true.
do? So again, technology is changing very fast. So languages do not matter a lot right now. Tech stacks do not matter a lot right now. Docker is a technology, I think, which came like 10 years back. And right now it's been evolved into Kubernetes. So technology is changing very fast. So there's not one any technology unless you're
True.
joining a very early startup. They might have a requirement. Okay, I need a merge stack developer or this Django developer. Other than that, technology is not very important. But for DSA, I think most platforms are compatible with C++, Java, or Python. So pick any one of them. And C++ is the most popular one. Most of the resources you'll find online in C++. And I think that's the first programming language of most developers. So
True.
try to do C++, but if not, Java or Python will also work. But at the end,
True.
like
Understood.
programming one technology will never be a blocker for you unless you have a very niche company you're applying to, which is again something I would not recommend. Apply to like 15, 20 companies, try to get 5 offers, and then choose the best.
And also because Python is easy, most of the people start learning, I mean, like DSA with Python, and maybe at some point of time in the, what do you say, when they, what do you say, give coding challenges, they might face this runtime error, right?
Right.
So
And
what's the
one thing
solution for that? I mean, like, should they
people
switch the
don't realize,
language or?
Python is very slow. So in a lot,
Hmm.
because we host our own platform, we know this thing. Python time limits are 5 times or 3 times of the time limits of C++ code. So for some platforms in Python, people get a lot of TLE and they have to do like very specific optimizations to get the normal logic correct.
Hmm.
So again, Python might help you early or in some few questions, but you might stuck around if you're like in the long run game. You might face some coding rounds where Python will not be your friend.
I mean, like, what do you suggest? I mean, like, if I'm aiming for like big companies like Mang, should I learn like do DSA in Python?
No, if you're starting from scratch, do in C++. But if you already started in Python, it's fine for now.
Understood. Got it. So there's one another question. So how do you decide on like which data structure to use for the given problem?
Again, it depends on the problem that you're seeing. For some problems, you might see there is only one approach to solve it, so you don't have a lot of flexibility there. But in some approaches, you might see, okay, vector will also work. If people have worked in C++ STL, vector will work, a heap will work, a 2D array will work. So it again depends on the problem. For some problems, you might have to stick to a few data structures. But most of the problems I see, there will be two, three approaches. So based on which approach you're solving, and you can choose on the data structure.
Understood. So like, can you provide some like real life examples of like where these data structures are exactly used?
So at this point, there are too
Maybe
many.
like maybe you can consider like Google Maps as an example and we explain.
Right
Or
now,
if like
joining as a developer, you might not directly work into the Google Map algorithm, right? If you're a senior developer in that stage, at that place, you might have to think about algorithms or those places. But initially, or if you're example working in DevOps role, SRE role,
Mhm.
right? You have to build a load balancer, you have to build a cache, you have to build distributed systems. At that places, algorithms play a very important role. So if
True.
you're working on very core services, building the basic blocks of that, at that places algorithms come into play. And there you have to do a lot of optimizations. And in those companies, for example, in HFTs are high frequency trading companies. For example, there's a company called AlphaGraph. So
Hmm.
uh, at those places, they have to do very high frequency trades because their
Hmm.
whole business model is based on that. So they have to do very basic optimizations. They have to write very specific algorithms. There they use a lot of DSA. And in those
Understood.
places, the tech stack is mainly than C++ because those level of optimizations are only possible in that language.
Understood. Understood. And this question which I'm asking right now is like asked by most of the students. So how can they ensure that like the code whatever they have written is like most efficient, readable, and like maintainable? How can to come into that particular conclusion?
So there are two places where you write code, right? When you're applying to a job. One is coding round and one is interview.
Hmm.
So
True.
during coding round, how you clean your code is or how well you've written it does not matter. If you pass the test case, you pass the test case, you get it accepted. But during interviews, how you write your code is very important. The interviewer might approve your code even if it is not the correct approach. But if you have a specific writing style, you are very collaborative, you write clean code, then they'll be very happy. So again, getting it
Understood.
reviewed by your seniors, by your peers, by your mentors, people who have actually written good code or going through good code bases. So when you're submitting a problem, if it's a public platform, try to go through, okay, what has other people submitted? If you're giving a contest, try to see, okay, what has the top one rank submitted, top third rank submitted, and try to see how they write their code. That is something which I used to do back in my college, and that is how I picked up writing good code.
Understood. So I guess I mean like people have got good clarity of how to clear their basic coding rounds and get into the interview rounds and stuff. So let me ask some quick questions regarding interviews.
Yeah.
So like yeah, now I have cleared my coding round and I have the interview right now. So like what are the basic coding questions like which I can expect from the interview regarding DSA?
Regarding DSA,
Yep.
so they might, again, depends on what kind of company you're applying to. For example,
Mhm.
Google will ask you very tough questions. Amazon will ask you tough questions. But some companies, for example, one of my friends sat in for Facebook's Google
Okay.
round. And the question they were asked was a binary search question.
Okay. Hmm.
And again, it was a very easy question, but she did not get selected for that. And the thing was, they did not expect, they were not looking for, okay, whether she can do binary search or not. They were looking for, okay, how will she react to this question? What kind of questions will she ask? Fallback questions. So they
Understood.
sometimes the purpose of an interview is not just okay, how good is your algorithmic coding that they've tested sometimes in the coding round. Sometimes
Understood.
they want to test, okay, how do you react when you get a problem? How well are you able to collaborate with the interviewer? What kind of questions will you ask? How do you seek clarity when clarity is not available? So
Understood.
again, those DSA questions which you were asking, they will be the standard DSA questions. Some companies
Mhm.
will have questions which are difficult, some will be easy. But one thing people misses, interviews point is also about, okay, I have to show myself as an employee or as a collaborator more than, okay, okay, this is my base knowledge. So a lot of people are
Understood.
very good in coding. A very good example is competitive programmer. So I saw a
Mm.
yellow rated coder on
Okay.
Codeforce, but he was only able to get a job in Zomato, a company like Zomato. For example, you would expect a yellow rated coder can get Google or Facebook.
Google, yeah, bro. Mm.
So the main problem was he was not good in communication or collaborating or asking questions.
Understood. So we should be prepared for the interview of all the questions what they ask.
Yeah, think exhaustively, not just cover the questions, but you have to be aware during the interview. Okay, what does the interviewer expect from me? Is he happy? Is he expecting me to ask more questions? Because
Mm.
sometimes they will not even give you the input output constraint. They expect that you will ask, okay, what are the constraints of this input? Because based on the
Understood.
constraint, your algorithm might change from O of n
True.
square to O of n log n.
Understood. Understood. And during interviews also, like most of the people get nervous because of the questions they ask and all, right? So what's like, do you have any suggestions or tips to stay calm in the interview and stay focused?
Yeah. A lot of people don't utilize the power of mock interviews. They directly jump into the interview on the interview day and they're very tense. And sometimes I see that people reject a lot of interviews thinking, "कि, okay, I'll not join this company." No, give that interview, get the offer letter, get the experience out of there, है ना? Get those jitters out, get मतलब, comfortable in that setting. So
Understood.
I think even with Job Overflow, we are planning to have mock interviews introduced soon. People who
Okay.
uh, people who perform well in the 10-day coding challenge which is going on. I think
Hmm.
I'll be personally more than happy to take mock interviews of some of them. So
Understood.
I think Sarigama might announce it in a few days.
Yeah, yeah.
We might be planning that, but we will do mock interviews soon. So yeah, do more mock interviews.
Understood, understood. So I guess I mean like you are doing a great job with your platform which you have built, Job Overflow. I mean like I could see that all those relevant questions and like fresh questions which came like in recently asked interviews and stuff. And to be to ask this particular question, so what role does LinkedIn play? See, for example, if I'm taking up some challenge and I'm like posting like, okay, I have solved this problem, solved this problem for like 100 days stretch. I mean, like, will this have any impact or something like that on the interviewer, like, who takes the
Yeah.
interview?
So, like just keeping LinkedIn apart from now, there is too much competition in job market, right? We all know that if I'm applying, everyone in my batch is also applying, or all my peers group are applying. So, how do I stand out is very important. How do the recruiter find out about me? How do they perceive me is very important. So, having your own personal brand or just projecting yourself nicely is very important, which is one thing people miss a lot in their resume. They might miss the main highlight of their resume. And LinkedIn is a very good tool to like brand yourself or show yourself, or whenever you achieve something, you have a small win, post about it on LinkedIn. A recruiter
Yep.
might be scrolling down and they might have a requirement and they'll see your profile and they'll be like, yeah, I want exactly like someone like that. So whenever you have
Hmm.
a small win, you win a contest or you perform well somewhere, post about it on in LinkedIn. Most people have that complex, yeah, I am just out in my career, I don't have a lot of achievements. But posting on this LinkedIn will make a habit that you keep on looking for achievements now. Whenever you see a
Yes.
next coding round or you might see a contest, you will be active, right? Okay, now I'll solve this and I'll get something to post on LinkedIn. So a
Understood,
lot of
understood.
people who attended the workshop, the AUDEVDAY workshop, they go back and they post about it. They post the certificates. They post about the thing that they built there.
Yes. Even I encourage my community to post like if any workshops I'm conducting or something like that, share the insights, whatever you have learned, such that it will give them a boost to do something new the next day.
Right.
So
It's your
that's the
own
major thing.
responsibility to promote yourself.
Yep, yep, true, true. And this machine learning, artificial intelligence, these are like the booming things right in today's days. So what's like, is there any role of DSA in the development of AI and machine learning?
Not exactly, but yeah, DSA plays a lot of role in software development. So wherever there is software development happening, infrastructure happening, so DSA will come from left, right, or center. And even if it does not come in your active development job, you need it to get the job. So
Understood.
it's something you cannot run away from. And DSA interacts a lot of way in the artificial intelligence space, and artificial intelligence space also interacts a lot of ways with DSA. For example,
Yes.
with LLMs coming in now, I think the bar for coding rounds will increase a lot.
Understood.
So that's the trend that we have also seen recently, that people have started asking more, like, because now everyone knows the basic concepts more easily. They have pushed up the bar of their coding rounds. So yeah, it happens to and fro.
Yes. Got it. Got it. So I mean, like, I'm done with my questions. Let me just like quickly ask, like, if people have any doubts or something like that.
I actually popped in
Uh,
to do that only.
you
Just
popped into that
one
only.
question I particularly wanted to redirect to Nalin is people
Okay.
were asking about any project that they can build for boosting their resume. And I know here at Algo University, you have actually personally guided a lot of people to build projects, system design, and all those things. Like
Right.
they are asking about any project for freshers and few people just in project in general. So maybe you can take that up.
Right. I think project is a pitfall that a lot of people fall into when applying. So whenever I'm going through whenever we post the software development job, we get lots of resumes, and in 70% of the resume, I'll find a clone project. And
Hmm.
they'll be like, I've built a Swiggy clone, I've built Netflix, I've built Flipkart, I've built this. And whenever you click on the link, most of the times they'll not have the link posted, right? And when you ask them, okay, can you show me the code base? You go to their GitHub and you'll see one commit for the entire project. And you can clearly see they have not written it.
True. True.
So most of the people fall in the like they are so desperate, or but for a better word, they don't have the visibility or the knowledge to build a project, that they try these small hacks. So having a project
Understood.
is a very good differentiator right now, because a lot of people are not able to build projects on their own without having a job. So having a good project which you have built on your own, which you have deployed, or so for example, the curriculum which Sarigama is mentioning, the which we have built here at Algo University, we build a project in 1 month, and the project has 4 stages. We call it a 4 stage project. So the first phase is where you build the project on your own. The second phase is where you deploy the project. The third phase is where you try to get actual users. So we don't make any just project, for example, a Swiggy or Clona. We try to find a problem where they can get actual users. For example, with college student, we try for them to build their own online judge, so they can have their professors integrate that into their courses. So third level is try to get users, because that's when you find real bugs. That's where it
True.
becomes a real project. And fourth is focus on scalability. So the project which students build here, they are scalable projects, and they're hosted online. People have actually come and used that. So whatever
Understood.
stage you clear of this project, more differentiated you are from other peers who are applying for the same job. So if you have, for
True.
example, a level 4 project which is deployed scalable, I can guarantee you are getting an interview call very easily. Even if you screw up the
Hmm.
coding round, but you've built a level 4 kind of project, any good engineering manager or tech lead will be happy to call you and talk to you. How did you come up with this on your own without a job?
Got it. Got it. Understood. So it's like it's very important to build actual project. I mean, like, instead of cloning and stuff. And actually it's easy to identify if it's a clone project or not. Right.
Like for us who review jobs on a daily basis, it likes even if I don't have to see the code base, I can call you and I'll ask you one question and I can find, okay, did you write it or not?
Understood. And here there's one person asking like how to react to, I mean, like, if the person doesn't know I mean, like, how to solve that particular question, how should we react, I mean, like, to the interviewers?
Uh, Sorry, I didn't.
They
I
don't
mean,
know
like,
how to solve the question.
how to solve the problem.
In the interview, even if you don't know how to solve the problem, now you are there. Now you cannot run away. You have 15 minutes. So give your best and ask as many questions as you can from the interviewer, right? You might not know the best solution, but try to come up. Use the interviewer as much as you can. Ask as many questions as you can. You might ask, okay, is this the approach you're trying me to? A lot of people I've seen, they come to the interview and do not even interact with the interviewer. If they
True.
cannot solve a problem, they'll just sit there quietly for 15 minutes they'll internally be thinking, oh, I should have prepared, I should have prepared. Don't, now you cannot change those 15 minutes. You have a person in front of you, talk to him as much as you can.
Understood, understood. And also like while practicing these questions, right? I mean, for example, have picked one question and I start solving that particular question. I mean, like, how much time should I spend on it? Maximum time, and I should move on to other question or like take a look of the solution.
Till you have written one approach for that solution, it might be
Mm.
the wrongest approach or the worst approach, but you have given one good thought, you've written one piece of code for that, you've hit submit. So you, beyond a point, you would actually know that, okay, whether you've given an honest attempt or not. And I've
True.
seen a lot of people, they'll sit for 3 hours, but it will not be an honest attempt. In those 3 hours,
Mm.
they're not thinking about the problem. Or
Mm.
they have come up with a very brute force kind of solution and they are just going, okay, brute force, so I'll only solve it by brute force. So you would
Understood.
yourself know when you've given an honest attempt to it or not.
Mm.
And by thumb of rule, like if you have given like more than 12, 15 hours, then I think you should go it now.
And
But again,
regarding,
don't go and see the solution. Try to see, okay, what was missing in you or in your knowledge that you could not solve it.
hmm,
Because there would be some concept missing in you because you could not come up with the solution.
understood.
So reading a solution is like something very negative. Don't do it.
And regarding the workshop we are going to host is about graphs, right? So what
Right.
exactly is graphs? I mean, like what role does graphs play in like I mean, like cracking top product-based companies?
Yeah, graph is one, like you were initially asking me what are the topics which in DSA that you have to cover. Graph is one of them. DFS, BFS, graph traversals, finding shortest path. Those are standard questions which companies ask. Even in Job Overflow, you can find multiple questions which have been asked in previously companies based on graph. And graph is again one topic which people are very scared of. Even
So,
they might know basic DFS, some people are also scared of basic DFS, BFS, and that is something they're very scared of. And graph is a very famous topic with Algo University. Manas sir graph camp is very famous. He has done graph camps in all over India now. All top colleges have had graph camps by Manas sir. And again, every year there is like a short list which goes out. A lot of people apply. We can only host a
Yeah.
limited people, so they only get to do the graph camp. And
understood.
again, I think you'll find multiple testimonials online about graph camp by Manas Kumar Verma. So the whole
Understood.
idea is like having a 3 day or 2 day workshop where you start from having zero knowledge of graph to not only getting comfortable with graph, solving problems of graph, to now you have knowledge that again you cannot cover entire graph in 3 days, but with those 3 days of knowledge, now you're as comfortable that you can approach any graph problem.
True.
Never face a graph problem for which there was a concept that you've not learned in these 3 days, and you
Understood.
solve a good number of problems also.
Yep, got it, got it. So I guess I'm done with the
Again, if
questions.
I have to
Let's
go
just
back and I have to learn graph, I think if I can attend Manas Graph Camp, that is like the best way to do it.
Yeah, and
got
I
it.
would say the same thing. I learned from some of the best people in IIIT Hyderabad, but still I would choose this over that, and not
A,
just as the person who's organizing this, but genuinely.
a good story that we have at Algo University is like a lot of people in non-tech roles in Algo University, they are also engineers. So we hire a
Hmm.
lot of engineers because we believe engineers are core problem solvers. So even if I have to hire for a marketing role, I I would put a bet on an engineer to solve it good. Okay. So a lot of
Yep,
these people are engineers, but they're not tech people. So they everyone has a kida of doing coding. So they attend Manas Graph Camp and they love it a lot. So we have a
understood,
lot of people
understood.
in our team who have attended Manas Graph Camp. They're not engineers, like they're not software people, but they do the Manas Graph Camp.
Got it,
So
got it.
it's there's this one thing that we say that people will not only master this graphs, but they will fall in love with it, which is very rare, to be honest. People are either scared of it or they have never done it. So,
Understood.
so this is something even I'm personally very excited. We are doing it for the first time for, Hyderabad
That was
techies.
specific to graphs.
Yeah, yeah, specific to grasp something that people usually dread, and it's so mighty mentally for
Yeah,
people, right? So that's going to be
yep, yep.
exciting. So I dropped the link of workshop registration in the comments. We'll also put it up on the description in 5 minutes, because when we are live, it's not allowing us to edit. But I've pinned the message, so anybody who is on the chat will be able to see the link. You can register there. If you want us to fast track your application, just write YouTube live or something in the referral part, and we'll know that you are from here, and we'll take you more seriously. All right, so I have a couple of questions for both of you.
Okay.
So I know that Nihar, you're actually building this mass coders community, right? And
Yeah.
Nalin, you're contributing back to community here in Hyderabad by being part of a mentor for Techies of Hyderabad community for AUDEVDAY. You're investing time here to give it to the community here. Like coming from IIIT Hyderabad, I know how powerful networks can be, where if you have good peer group, good seniors, and that network, it literally uplifts you like nothing else, to be honest. And people from usually tier 3 or different colleges which are out there, they don't have that support system. And especially working professionals, they are just alone in a city, and which is why we conceptualize this whole idea of Techies of Hyderabad, that people who are working professionals, who are ambitious, should have a space where they continuously can fuel their fire within themselves, keep going, and like achieve whatever they want in like tech space. So why do you think this is important to you? For Nihar, this is question for you. Why is it
Yeah.
important for you to build this community? What made you start that? And you're also coming all the way to Hyderabad to
Yeah,
do
yeah.
this workshop. So clearly something is driving you.
So what made me to start this community is, I mean, like when I go to like YouTube or something, or like go online and search for resources, right? I find most of the resources online that are made in Hindi and English, to be specific. And I started my community to be specific in Telugu. So I could see like no like proper resources are available in Telugu right now on YouTube or like wherever you go. Like if you go search for any Python full course video in Telugu, you'll get videos, but they are not that good like compared to Hindi or English. And that's what made me to start content. And I started on Instagram and YouTube. And people wanted to teach me. I mean, like they initiated me to teach. So basically, and then I started with Python full course video, C language, and then I'm teaching web development, machine learning, SQL. I mean, like I have covered these courses so far, and this eventually turned out to be a community. People are learning together, and that's how it's going on.
Right. So when you, I know that you are also still a student, right? So
Yeah, yeah.
do you feel like mentorship could make immense difference, and if yes, in what way? And mainly, I want to ask this question because often what I feel is people identify the wrong person as their mentor.
True.
They will let a senior tell them what to do, or a random
Yeah.
person on the internet. Again, this is not about you or anyone specific. It is about currently the market is so huge for mentors everywhere that you don't know who
Right.
the right person is to put this huge main thing that is your career in their hands. How do you feel safe, right? To just
Yes.
put that decision in someone's hand that, yeah, they told me to learn Python. Now I learn it for
Mm.
6 years. I'm still in the same company. I'm not getting a switch. Literally, that is the
Yeah.
problem of most of my community. So, like, do you feel that mentorship, that thing is missing in these colleges right now?
Yeah, mentorship is something like which is really important. I mean, like people, I think like people should be guided from right people. So if I give you some quick example, I'm like just passed out of inter and I want to join an engineering college. So it's like I want to choose between two different branches, that is CSE or ECE. I mean, like we don't go ask with some people who is actually doing engineering. What's the exact syllabus in CSE or ECE? We just go to, I mean, like some aunties, uncles, they come. I mean, like our neighbors, they come. Okay, join this easy. You'll get this government jobs as well. You'll get tech jobs as well. You can switch between them. You have like lots of opportunities. But if we exactly like hear from the right people who have like been through that path, we get an exact idea of what to do, what not to do, right? I mean, people is like they are oftenly getting like misleaded by referring to like wrong people. They should not refer to. So that's one thing. And mentorship, obviously, like plays a huge role. I mean, like we should get mentorship from people who are experienced and been through that particular path.
Yeah, and this is one thing that I tell a lot to people
Yeah.
that
Just a second, sorry. That's a very good point by Nihar. So I was just drawing the parallels. He was talking about ninth and like 11, 12 to now when they pass out from college. So just like how he mentioned, there are uncle aunties. right now when people are in college, there are a lot of bhaiya didis. So there are a lot of bhaiyas you'll find on the internet with a lot of their list. So in bhaiya ka list, un bhaiya ka list. And again, malab, a very well good point you come upon, that having a good mentor is very important. So try to see what credentials your mentors have, right? Try to learn a few concepts or try to attend a few classes from them. A lot of people have paid courses right now. That's a very good thing because now people are learning structurally, like Nihar's initial point, how to learn DSA, learn it in a structured way. But again, they're like uncle aunties, there are bhaiya didis out there. So be careful with those bhaiya didis. Again, how people solve 500 problems, 600 problems, and they feel they're doing good. From some mentors you'll be learning and you'll feel okay, I'm learning, but again at the end you'll find in the coding round that there's a problem. So
Yeah. And there's this,
having the right mentor will can be a make or break situation sometimes in your preparation.
yeah, we kind of like sometimes when people ask me in this community, I keep saying that, okay, so do you have a mentor? People will, yeah, you
Yeah.
know, my job may my manager, and I'm like, your manager is not rooting for you to switch, bro. Like it's kind of as simple as that, firstly. And secondly, if your senior is suggesting something to you, they're suggesting from their one experience of cracking that Google job probably, but people like Manas, Nalin here, they are guiding from the experience of like 500. Manas actually guided 50,000 people, which is just mind-boggling to me. But those
Right.
numbers, so it's at this point it's just math. Like people know from this what patterns work for you objectively, irrespective of who you are. They're going to give you like that objective path for you versus somebody just saying, hey, you know what, this worked for me, maybe you try it, it will work, or maybe 1 year down the line, sorry, you can come back to me again. So that's one thing. Secondly, like,
Again,
huh, go on.
so you'll be switching job once in your life, right? You'll be getting your first job once in your life. So again, giving your best, finding the best team or the best mentors at that point of time, making sure that you're in the best place when you're doing this is very important. Because once you get that one good job or once you get into FANG, a lot of doors open for you, which will not open until you get there. So just spending a good amount of time there and figuring out, okay, what is the best place for me personally is a really good practice and I would highly recommend.
Yeah. So, like for Nalin, the same question goes to you that how do you think like this finding a good peer group in these communities like Techs of Hyderabad could be very helpful to people, and attending workshop like this and finding those ambitious other tech people could be helpful.
Yeah.
Right. So there's this famous quote, right? You're the average of 10 people you hang out with. That
Yeah.
is so true for when you're in college, in school, or now that you're looking for your first job. So when you're looking for a job, you sometimes what happens is you might not find the most motivated people in your own friend circle. Okay, they'll be fun to hang out with. They'll be fun to have chai and going to having biryani with, for example, but they might not be the best kind of people to prepare with. And being coming from Triple IT Hyderabad, I think I might not cherish the classes which I attended or the but just having those people around. And I think we've preserved those same kind of energy now in Algo University and the same kind of culture. So you learn a lot of things from your peer group, and having those right kind of people will always be helpful for you. And in
But
any case scenario, yeah,
what like if a person is from tier 3 college, he might not get exactly the same peer group, right?
right.
As in top
Right.
colleges.
So you might not be having that right community right now where you are, but if you're in Hyderabad, I think, for example, the workshop which is having is a good place for you to find those like-minded people.
Yeah.
Or getting into these ways of preparation. If you're going on the right way, you'll find people in those right way, working along with you. And just being aware and okay, grabbing those right people at the right time is very important. So you might not find them in your college or in your company, but eventually, if you're walking on the right path, look left and right. Someone will be walking along with you.
Yeah, and I guess like it's pretty straightforward. The reason why I even reached out to you, Nihar, among like lot of people that we could have reached out to is pretty simple. That you're so consistent, you're so ambitious, you are trying to do something, and if you are doing that and people are sticking around with you, potentially they are also ambitious, and it's just
Yeah.
math at this point. We were like, yeah, we
Yes.
want to
Yes.
reach out to the right folks who would maybe leverage our workshop for the best and
Right.
Yeah.
find those ambitious learners in Hyderabad. So yeah, thanks for collaborating with us on that too.
Definitely. Thank you so much for inviting.
All right, some people said fast track my application on the chat. So I have dropped a fast tracking form as well. So we'll be keeping an eye on that. We already rolled out invites actually, but we do have a few more seats for people. So definitely you can apply there. And we are already very, very over time. So we're going to close here, but definitely you all can in person meet Nalin sir and Nihar and me at the workshop. So do join us and we'll see you there. That's it for now. Thank you so much for everybody who stuck around till the end. It was really
Thanks
nice
for joining,
speaking to
guys. Thanks for joining.
Thank you for having
Uh,
me.
So that's it, right? We'll wrap up.
Yes, that's it.
Oh.
My setup is complicated, so I'm trying to like shut it down. Could you
Okay,
help me with that?
okay. Okay, guys. Good night. Good night,
Good
everyone. See you
night.
at the workshop.
Oh.
Guys, whoever are still here, please drop how you felt about it in the comments. And for people who take out time like we are, it's very exciting to read those reviews from you. So do drop how you felt it, not just on the chat, I mean on the comment section. So because the chat disappears and we still didn't figure out how to keep it. So yeah, thanks for joining. Good night to everybody.
Okay. Good night, everyone. Good night.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye.